Good morning, Alp.
Good morning to you, sir.
Now, this story doesn't necessarily take on the saga of the migrant crisis in any particular way, but I think it highlights the fact that the whole situation is becoming something of a sick comedy. And this is that a bunch of Tunisian TikTokers, influencers, were having a whale of a time coming over from France on their dinghy to enter this country illegally, laughing, joking, looking forward to their new life. And of course, when they got here, they would have been welcomed into the bosom of the British family. They would have been put into a nice warm coach, taken to a hotel, given some money. I mean, as I say, numerically, it doesn't particularly change the situation, but it does highlight the fact that our government is doing absolutely nothing to stop this almost daily invasion. It's got to stop, hasn't it?
It has got to stop. Absolutely. I think that the people we're talking about now were making their way across the Mediterranean, but no doubt that a lot of them could well end up making the journey across the Channel as well. I think for me, what this bit of TikToking has really made absolutely clear is that so many of those who are coming into Europe this way, making their way across the Channel, are not really fleeing persecution, for goodness sake. Most of them are young men. They're all looking for a better life. And this is what this particular bit of this TikTok video that's gone viral, what it really does is encourage people to take this route across the Mediterranean and across the Channel. It's wicked. It's absolutely wicked. And they should be ashamed of themselves for doing it.
And, what war and torture are they escaping in Tunisia? Which is the same story that goes for every single migrant that comes here in a dinghy from France. We treat them as if they're not breaking the law because they have the right to claim asylum because they're escaping from war and torture. What war and torture is A, happening in Tunisia, and B, happening in France? It's not, is it?
Well, absolutely not. And this is where common sense seems to have taken flight among our government officials, among our courts, our judges. The standard of proof is so lamentably low when it comes to people proving their case for claiming asylum that it's a joke, frankly, that so many of them who are clearly not asylum seekers, do not qualify for asylum, find it all too easy, really, to get to countries like ours and then be taken at their word that they're fleeing persecution.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong.
Yeah, I guarantee you that these Tunisians, that their final destination will be the south coast of Britain. At least that's what they hope to do, because this is the Shangri-La for all the migrants. They want to end up in Britain. And you and I have discussed this many times, Alp, but sometimes I put on Twitter something about, more illegal migrants arriving illegally here in Britain. And you get these sort of Guardian readers going, what laws are they breaking? If it's illegal, they're not breaking any laws. Well, we don't classify them as breaking laws because the Crown Prosecution Service said that as far as they're concerned, no laws were being broken. These are people who take an illegal method of crossing the Channel, and they arrive here invariably with no documents, no passports, because the people smugglers tell them throw them in the Channel if you still happen to have them. This is illegal. It's illegal to take an illegal form of crossing the Channel to get here, and it's illegal to arrive here with no documents. So why can't we classify these people as lawbreakers?
Why, indeed. You ask a fantastic question for which I have no answer, because notwithstanding all the common sense that you have clearly My goodness. And there's an example now of the fact that they are young people, they are young men in the main, and they don't look in any great persecuted condition to me. I'm really desperate, really, to know what the government is thinking of when they all but encourage people to come by not removing those who have come here in the way you've described, which is illegal. It is illegal to set off in an unseaworthy dinghy from a port in France, from a place in France which is not authorized.
No.
You can't do that. It's international law, for goodness sake, that you can't do it. So, of course, it's illegal. But it seems that we are completely hamstrung in our ability to apply common sense, detain those who arrive in this way, having detained them, deal with them quickly. We still have our law to abide by. And then when they fail, if they fail, to remove them. That's what needs to happen. If that doesn't happen, then I'm afraid that people like Sabi al-Saidi and Jaime Ben Mahmoud, who are those behind this TikTok video, they are the sort of people who are encouraging individuals to risk their lives, really. And bear in mind that those crossing the Mediterranean, over 23,000 have died since 2014.
Yeah.
Not to mention those who have died crossing the Channel more recently.
And when they turn up here, Alp, it's pretty simple. You can apply for asylum, of course, if you're fleeing war and torture, but there isn't any war and torture in Tunisia, and nor is there any war and torture in France. So,
no, Kevin,
then it's there goes your asylum application, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, but let's not overlook the fact that we've had so far this year, or over the past year, 80,000 people from Hong Kong. We've had 12,000 people from Afghanistan. 30,000 have been granted asylum in the normal course of events. We've had 25,000 people from Syria. 300,000 net foreign migrants into this country on average over the last 20 years each year. So it's not as if we're not having a lot of people come here, all of whom need houses, all of them who need care. That is what is so sad about this.
It's going to be a massive story once again this year. Some estimates that maybe as many as 100,000 might come across the channel alone. Alp, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much. Chairman of Migration Watch UK, Alp Mehmet there.